Pip Watts.
BBC Radio Nottingham.
Does that put you in the summery mood, eh? Danny Wilson's Second Summer of Love. In fact, we are getting in a summery mood. Hopefully in about an hour's time from now, we're going to be hearing from our roving reporter, Hayley Compton. We have dispatched Hayley and ordered her to drink lots of tea and eat lots of cake and hopefully bring plenty back for me and Mickey. She has gone to the Tea and Tents Festival. Now, this is a WI event. It's in its second year and it's all the way up in Walesby in Nottinghamshire. It sounds absolutely fascinating. Proper camping. Imagine all those WI members all camping, no electricity. There's workshops, parties, events. Apparently, Tea and Tents 2014, that was its first year. It was so incredible and such a massive inspiration. They're doing it all again. They're actually doing something called yarn bombing. Now, I'm afraid I'm a bit rubbish at anything to do with knitting or yarning or anything like that. I had to look up yarn bombing. And the WI have been busy creating characters from basically The Wizard of Oz. So we're going to be hearing more about that after 2 o'clock with Hayley, who's at the Tea and Tents Festival, a WI weekend of camping in Nottinghamshire. Hundreds and hundreds of women from all over the country, WI members. Of course, they're getting younger, a lot of the WI members, aren't they? All going to be doing cake baking, pickling and yarn bombing. We'll get Hayley doing a bit of yarn bombing. Now, when you talk about the WI, you've got to play a bit of this. Rousing stuff. All I need is a pot of jam next to me. And I mention the WI because hundreds of WI members are congregating in Walesby in Nottinghamshire this weekend. Why? Because it's for Tea and Tents. Hundreds of them are going to be gathering. They had such a great time doing it for the first time last year. They're doing it again this year. It's only the second year. We've sent Hayley Compton all the way up to Walesby to find out what's going on. Hello, Hayley.
Pip, I couldn't be better. I am in a field that isn't muddy. I'm without my wellies. There's loads of tents surrounding me and there's a gazebo which is looking slightly dodgy because it's slightly windy, so we might be losing that at the end of this. Just off the A614, I've gone past the Rufford Abbey beautiful gates and I've arrived at this campsite. There's a big pink gazebo outside because, of course, I'm here for this national meetup of the WI, Tea and Tents, and I'm with one of the co-organisers, Indiana Raby. Now, how many members are you expecting?
We're expecting about 520 women from all over the country today.
Fantastic. And how many WI members are there nationally?
I think the last count there was 212,000 because it's our centenary year this year.
So 212,000. Now, India, you look to me not like a WI member at all because I'm sort of expecting, a lady of a certain age, but you're very young, aren't you?
Well, not so much anymore, but when I first joined, I was 25 and I joined Cotgrave WI. But I think the ages of the average member is quite varied now. It's not quite the stereotype it used to be.
Now, let's dispel some rumours. Is it all jam and Jerusalem?
Well, I like to think of it more as wine and axe throwing. We've got all sorts of activities planned this weekend. We've got a massive yarn bomb, we've got cream teas, of course, and there'll probably be singing at some point, but it's a lot more than jam and Jerusalem.
Now, just describe to me what you're wearing, because it's a gorgeous dress. Is this part of the theme of this weekend?
Some of the ladies have chosen to wear summer dresses and tea dresses, and some of us are getting quite dressed up, and then some of us are just wearing a sweater and jeans, so yeah.
Now, describe for us some of the other activities that you've got going on, because I'm a bit concerned that it might turn into like a calendar girls type event.
Well, we've got all sorts of things. We're in Walesby Scout Camp and they're putting on canoeing for us. We're swimming in the lake, abseiling and axe throwing. We've also running a lot of our own workshops. There's things like arm knitting, paper cutting, needle felting, meditation. We're having a campfire tomorrow night. we've got a beer swap as well this evening, so people are bringing lots of local ales from wherever they're from, and we all get to try a bit.
That sounds like right up my street. Now, tell us about last year, because that was the first event, and you've got some really good weather today. What was it like last year?
It was horrendous last year. We were in a much smaller campsite in Derbyshire, and it was in the Peak District, and it just rained from the point we arrived to the point we left. But it was so successful, we thought we'd do it again this year and make it bigger and better.
Now, you've got this huge tent behind me. It almost looks as if there could be a wedding going on in there or something. There's loads of bunting. It's just full of women. And the doors haven't even opened yet. What's going on right now?
Well, at the moment, we're just briefing in the volunteers who arrived they got the luxury of coming a couple of hours early to set up, so we could get them all briefed in before the hordes arrive at 3 o'clock.
Now, tell us which is your tent over there, because I've noticed some of them are a bit posh. They're one of those ones that you can stand up in. What is a typical WI co-organiser tent like?
Well, I have to admit, most of the organisers have chosen to sleep in the camping lodges. We've got a lot of stuff, and we need to make sure everything's secure, so that's my excuse.
Well, you look so good in your tea dress, no wonder.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, do not let me down. Is there going to be some sort of cake making or jam making at all?
We do have a jam making demonstration in a field, and we've also got sugarcraft, so bun decorating, cupcake decorating, whatever you want to call them, and we have a massive cream tea which we've been sponsored by various suppliers, and that will be tomorrow. So yes, tea dresses and cream teas and cups of tea.
And will there be any sandwiches that are the size of my finger with just cucumber in them?
Only if people make it themselves.
Now, we were talking earlier about the WI. You're quite a young member. What's the average age now?
Well, you have to be 18 to join, and I think there isn't really an average age. It goes from a lot of people join in their 20s when they move to a new city, but we've got a lot of the more traditional members as well. So
something exciting's happened in the background.
It's happened, so I don't know.
It's probably one of the organisers getting a round of applause for putting on such a good event last year.
I think so, yeah.
Now let's go back to this yarn bombing, because there's a bit of a theme. Tell us about that.
It's called We're Not in Kansas Anymore, and since last year's Tea and Tents, some of the ladies decided to start planning this year's yarn bomb, which is based on the Wizard of Oz, and we've got ruby slippers been crocheted, we've got witch's legs, we've got Lion and Tin Man and Dorothy. They're all life size. All these WI ladies from all over the country have been crocheting and knitting their hearts out for the past year to get this all together.
So there we are, Pip. I might be off to find you some crocheted ruby slippers or a pair of witch's legs, or I might even try and find you that yellow pig that you were after.
Oh my goodness me, Hayley Compton there in Walesby at Tea in Tents. Did I hear that woman right from the WI? Oh, we're doing wine and axe throwing and a beer swap later. Now we're going to cross back to Hayley, who's at Tea in Tents in Walesby, where hundreds of WI ladies are all going to be gathering this weekend. Hello, Hayley.
I'm looking out over a sea of gazebos and tents, and if you can listen very, very carefully, there is a lady with a mallet just putting her final tent pegs into a huge tent. It looks like she can stand up in that one, not like some of the monstrosities that I've stayed in. But behind me is this big white huge gazebo, and inside is where some of the organisers are. There's bunting up, and on each of the tables inside there's one table that's got badges on that says hello, my name is, and it's got the tea and tent symbol on there. Now we've got bags and tea towels. The tea towels show all of the different members that are represented from all over the country, and we've got hoodies here that say tea and tents, very fashionable, a very lovely purple, and they're actually making a couple of signs that will go on the main tents for where the activities are, and they've actually got some quite interesting names. But I'm just coming over to Sue Carter because there is sort of like this makeshift kitchen over here, Sue. So what's this all about?
Well, at the moment we're laying out a cream tea for up to 5 people with the clotted cream, the jam and the scones donated by Tiptrees, various different manufacturers, and we're so grateful, and we're going to be asking for donations and raising money for Refuge, which is a fantastic national charity that does essential work for women and children suffering domestic abuse. that sort of thing. So we think it's a really worthy thing to raise money for.
Now, I can see those scones underneath the table there, donated by a very well-known supermarket. It's like a mountain of scones over there. And earlier, I was lucky enough to see inside the fridge. How much clotted cream have you got?
550, so that's 11 boxes. I couldn't believe it. It was delivered in this huge pile of clotted cream yesterday. So fantastic. Everyone's really excited.
Now, Sue, why did you decide to join the WI in the first place?
For me, I'd reached that time in my life where my children had grown up. I wasn't meeting people at the school gate anymore. At work, it got really busy. I wasn't social life through that. So one day I decided to walk into a room of other women on my own, take the chance, and I was really welcomed and found that I had fun and laughter and made lots of friends, and I've never looked back.
You've never looked back, and you've got a rosette on. What does that mean?
Well, part of joining the WI was meeting some other people from around the country at an annual general meeting and things. And I've become a member of this organising team for this event. So there's 5 of us who have organised this big camping festival for 550 very excited women.
Now, Sue, is camping normally up your street? Would you normally go into a muddy field?
Not me personally, I must admit. But, for the WI, I'm willing to try anything.
Now, you've got a sort of a rosette that's purple and green and white, but I noticed some earlier that were just around about. What are those ones? They're not as posh as yours.
No. This is the purple, white and green, which are the suffragette colours. Very inspiring women from earlier in the 20th century. So we've got, the organising team have got those. Green is for the people who are volunteering at the information point and stewarding. And purple will be for the ladies who are running workshops and doing speaking events for us.
Now, I described this tent that we're in now with the makeshift kitchen and, the pharmaceuticals under the table there. We've got lots of
first aid kit.
That's not the first aid kit, but it's got lots of paracetamol and TCP.
Absolutely.
Anything could happen, and so we're all very well prepared. But I described this tent earlier as just a big white gazebo, but it's actually got a name, hasn't it? And what is that?
Well, we've called it Boudicca's Big Top. And the other marquee just up the road is Pankhurst Pavilion, because we also wanted to remind people about inspiring women from the past and have a bit of fun as well.
All right there, Sue. Well, looking forward to lots of activities later. I might try the beer swapping, but it looks like wine tasting's on at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, so I might have to pop one down.
I don't think we're going to see Hayley again. Mountains of scones, mountains of clotted cream. There was talk of axe throwing, beer swapping. What on earth's happened to the WI? I'm heading straight to Walesby after I finish this programme at 4 o'clock. Thank you to Hayley Compton, who's been doing tea in tents. Hundreds of members of the WI all up in Walesby this weekend. So your news is on the way. Then we're meeting a very special pair of gentlemen after 3 o'clock.
A passion for Nottinghamshire life.
BBC Radio Nottingham.